I am seated in the confessions booth, about to listen without judgment. My ears are wide open, yet my lips remain sealed. Listening, her confession is about she finding love in the arms of a joker. My dear, I'd love to know your story, your confession.
Hello, Miss Nancy.
Hi.
So, I'm a God-fearing woman, and I'm married to a very supportive husband.
Wonderful.
But then, over the years, a lot has happened in our marriage. My husband is distant in terms of being romantic and being affectionate towards me. All my efforts to get his attention has failed. So, along the way, I found a friend in a colleague of mine at the office. And just as we were building that friendship, unfortunately, Miss Nancy, his jokes, his care, his positive words and energy towards me has made me go to the extent of doing things that a married woman shouldn't do.
Oh.
So unfortunately, Miss Nancy, just as we were getting together and vibing, I went to the extra mile of getting in bed with this colleague of mine. I feel so ashamed as a married woman, and I feel so guilty. But the issue is, I don't want to leave my work based on the fact that that is what I have to support my family.
Yeah.
And then this gentleman is always at the office, and it's so hard living in the office with him. It's creating a lot of problems for me because I can't seem to concentrate on my job. I came here today to get this guilt out of me and seek help from you.
And you came to the right place, and I almost asked you whether you actually got behind the desk with him or actually in bed. Because if the romance is happening, it probably must have happened in the office. But that is besides the point. The point is that her distant partner, her non-available emotionally partner, is causing her to seek validation, praises, comfort in the arms of a colleague who is warm, who is complimenting, and always making her laugh. Oh, laughter, they say, is good for the soul. And I love people that makes me laugh. But I didn't know that somebody could actually laugh you to extent of de-drossing you. Is there a word like de-drossing? Well, I just added it to the Ghanaian dictionary. And that is how it went. It's very early in the year. I think we all deserve some laughter, right? Yeah. But it's a serious confession, oh. Akwana manasra aroro neho. Hey, ladies, do you love men that makes you crack up? Men that makes you laugh? Who are the kind of men? The kind of men that gets your attention? My lady, you look lovely.
Thank you. Miss Nancy, please, good evening.
Hi, my love.
Miss Nancy, actually, as human beings, we are supposed to create our own happiness, though.
Yeah.
But if you get someone who is closer to you that makes you happy, you should make sure you keep such people around.
Yeah.
And you can also listen to inspirational songs, such as Don't Stop Believing by Steve Perry.
Oh, sir?
Yes.
You didn't get some in Ghana. All the songs that Kwabna, Kofi Kenyatta, Shatawale, Stone Boy. You didn't get it. You said Steve what?
Steve Perry, which was released in the year.
Ashaman.
No, please.
Where is he?
Outside. Please.
Ah, I see.
Yes, please. Which was released in the year 1981. Such songs can motivate you. Oh. No matter how hard the circumstance may be, you surely pass through. Thank you.
1981, over 40-year-old or about 40-year-old song. I'm going to find it and listen to it beyond Ochame Kwame, the Rockstone, and D Black's music. I have to move on. Right. Thank you. Thank you. And you?
This is it. You know, I'm always practical.
Yeah.
When you are getting married to a man, know the qualities of the man. Know the lifestyle of the man. You know, normally women go in for the money, what they get. Some women go in for the money, what they get. And at the fresh point, when they start the relationship, taking him or her to a nice restaurant and all that. But sometimes you have to test the pulse of the man. And they don't check all those things. There are men who come in and pretend they are good. Today, he can make you smile, but tomorrow, he cannot. Especially men when they don't have money in their pockets. It is only few men, when they don't have money in their pocket, they can keep the momentum going. So you see, you are laughing now.
Oh, yes.
And that is exactly how you should treat a woman. Sometimes be open.
Yeah.
And women should be so smart to know certain things about men. This lady in question saying, my man is this, he's not that and that. I shall see anywhere who. When be when be what dream, wakumemu, one feely. No, this young guy at the workplace, he dresses nice, he speaks nice, he buys all the cookies. Sometimes by the time you get to the office, there's a chocolate on the table, and he says, "Oh, you are in. Please have a seat. Let me get you a coffee."
Yeah.
But in the home, the man thinks he has gotten married. So over security, or because the woman is his bona fide property now, he doesn't care about all the
Mr. Clark, I can bet
afterthoughts.
that your wife loves you because you make her laugh.
Oh, Miss Nancy, me, I'll make you laugh. Oh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like us to go for a walk.
You are very warm.
You understand? When there's no money, we can buy alewa. We can buy,
yes.
Banana, 5 cedi of banana.
Eating by the roadside, holding each other's
The
hands.
way you even take the banana.
Yeah.
And telling her that see that media could do that you know the funniest way, the way you say things. Sometimes when they get married, they don't give their ladies a bad hate.
It's nice.
People stop.
When you are walking about in the
You
kitchen
understand?
and then somebody comes from behind you and gives you that tap.
Yes, and then he just comes from the behind.
Yeah, wet you nyami. Yeah, near pe tap kakra.
What I say?
Tap.
Tap.
You know?
What I say? Miss Nancy, Obawe kitchen Bema, all year Jumana o chicha jenin. Would you unexpectedly corner phone sako shena montuombi? But that can't. So number so Srekakra.
Thank you.
More romantic.
The men are going to change from tonight because somebody has been making another man's wife laugh, giving her so much joy, allowed her to express her joyful emotions such that before she knew, her bra was off and then her drawers, and the rest is the confession. Ladies and gentlemen, I will need these great people to come in. Let's have a serious conversation out of this. Because this is a major issue. Somebody's life, his investment, his life together with his wife is about to go down the drain because another man is making the wife laugh. Tonight, we have Counselor Kathy. My lady is coming in. Mama Kathy is always a great resource for the show, and we absolutely enjoy her. My lady. Lady in red, you have been missed. Please have your seat. Thank you. And with Mama Kathy, tonight for the very first time is a career coach and business developer, Jeremiah Boabing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make him feel welcome for the first time on Confessions. Come on. Do it better. Hello, sir. And man.
Yes.
Good to see you. Lady in red.
Absolutely.
You look
wonderful.
radiant.
Thank you. You're looking marvelous too.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome to Confessions.
Thank you, Nancy.
Yes. So we are here. The lady says that she was a faithful woman. Her husband is not warm. It's as if he's not present. Everything about them, their communication is so calculated. Good morning, how are you? How are the children? Have you taken them to school? Have you paid their school fees? Is there anything wrong? Other than that, there is no friendship. There is no joy. There is no affability, no warmth in the home. And then she goes to the office, and this young man looks sharp all the time, gives her compliments all the time, smells good like a bouquet of flowers, and says all the right things to her, and gets her to laugh. All the emotions that she's building, the good, the bad, that she has nowhere to express them, this guy is able to allow her to express them. And mama, she's falling in love. And they touched faces and hands and other places. And then we have a confession. Mama Kathy.
I read through the confession. Truth be told, there's nothing strange about whatever has happened, because foundation matters. You understand? So most times people, when they are in love, don't consider the aftermath of settling down in marriage. I believe probably this young man wasn't like that. The husband may not have been like that. But now it's unfolding because marriage produces the reality of who we are.
Yes.
We become exactly who we were wired and engineered to be when we are locked up in that room, and every other person who attended the wedding goes. So he's discovered that. I believe that for marriage to work, for the two of them, they need communication.
Yes.
But right now, I think she's drawn conclusions that the gentleman is not affectionate.
Yes.
He's not communicative.
She's not warm.
He's
She's
not warm.
affable.
He's not affable. He's not all of those adjectives. But you see, marriage doesn't leave you all by yourself. They should have sought for a professional counselor to take them through. He is fallen into the arms of another man in the office who is everything the husband is not.
It's not.
But interestingly, she may not have done her findings. That man may not also be affectionate and open to the wife.
Back at home.
Back at home.
But why is it that when they come home, Mama Kathy, there is a man here representing all the sons of Adam. Why is it that the moment you get home, you become distant, quiet, reserved, as if, especially the men from my tribe, the Ashanti men, they come home kum face. Like their children are afraid of them, their wives are afraid of them. Yeah. Why?
Because when we go to the office, that person that you're seeing in the office that's exciting you, you are seeing only their strengths on display. But you're living in the home and you're seeing the full scope of the person, their strengths, their weaknesses. You are living with it. Even your friend who you don't live in the same house and room with, once in a while, you can't stand some things about them. You are irritated by certain things about them. So when you have to live in the same room with somebody for the rest of your life, it can be difficult. That is why very often we don't pay attention to the fact that that person that you are talking with out there, whose humor you're enjoying, whose conversation, whose friendship you're enjoying, at that point in time, it's like a spotlight. The spotlight is on a strength you're enjoying.
Yeah.
But everything else is in the shadows. You don't see it until you have to marry that person.
Yes,
Then you get to see all the other aspects of them that you are not enjoying. I mean, a part of the studio conversation was about, didn't you know that that's how he was when you were marrying him? I think that when we talk like that, sometimes we're being overly simplistic.
Yeah.
Because people even change.
Yes.
Sometimes there are debates about how many children do you want? And people say, didn't you discuss it before you got married? I say, that's very simplistic. People change. I may not have wanted children before. Now I want children.
Yeah.
I may have wanted 2 children.
Now
Now I want 3. Things change.
Yeah.
There can be a man who is very available, easygoing, always in your face, always making you happy. Then he becomes CEO of a company. Then things change. So the key to having a great relationship or marriage does not lie necessarily in the discussions that happen before the marriage. It's about 2 things, consensus and compromise. We should agree that at every point in time when things change, my circumstance change, my personality change, my desires change, my aspirations change, we can talk about it and agree on something. So you may marry somebody. He didn't want to be a pastor when you met him. He was a banker. But now he wants to be a pastor. What will you do? Because in life, you can see way back into the future and be able to tell what will happen. So you may have liked a slim girl, you married a slim girl, now she's gained weight. So if all of life is about premarital discussion, you don't have the prophetic gift to discuss everything.
Yeah.
What you must agree on is that every time that we have a problem, we'll talk about it. And we'll come to a consensus or a compromise.
Thank you. Mama Kathy, why is it that usually African men feel I mean, you know, the Bible says that we were wonderfully made and fearfully made. Most African men want to be fearfully made in their own home. Why are they obsessed with that? Does being hard, being not nice, connote authority or power?
It's not that the African man just suddenly becomes that. We are the epitome of what was modeled before us.
Okay.
So an African man may have grown up in a home where the father was a King Kong.
Yeah.
He hated it, but comes into marriage and becomes exactly that. Changing is an intentional behavior. And so it's not about Africa. Most African men think that being manly, being the head of the home, is being strong, being aggressive, being whatever. But you see, times have even changed. So I take the conversation a bit further.
Yes.
When you become that King Kong kind of a husband because you're an African man, what you do is that you put a gap between you and your children, and it destroys whatever. So what I would say is that the African man has to wake up to realizing that relationships are not nurtured in very controversial atmosphere or toxic atmosphere.
Yes.
Being hard and difficult doesn't make you a good father or a good husband. So your father may have done that, doesn't mean you should take on that.
Yeah.
You should come to a place where you redefine what you want to be, who you want to be, and how you want your children to remember you for. Because the narrative should change at a certain point in time. But most times, most men they don't even go for counseling to discover who they truly are. And so let me take the conversation back to the earlier question. You see, this man that has changed to become who he has become now may be suffering from what we call dismissive attachment.
Okay.
There's something called attachment theory, attachment style.
Yes.
Children who grew up in home where the parents were not available have learned to be content, making themselves secure, happy. So you grew up.
They don't need anyone
necessarily. No, they don't need.
And they will not give themselves to you either.
No, not because they don't want to. But you see, formative years are very important. We are all adults now. We are a replica and a total
a
reflection of what we went through. So this man may have had a mother that very early in the morning is dashed to the market or dashed for work, comes back late, the father that was not present, and now he's grown up in that atmosphere of learning to be comfortable and, you know, be all by himself. And during relationship or courtship, when they were dating, oh my God, when you want to catch somebody, you will be everything for that person. When you finally catch the person, you resign back to your original clock. Okay, so now the originality of the man may be coming out.
Yes.
He doesn't know how to build relationship. He doesn't know how to connect. He's dismissive because nobody was actually there. So what the wife needed to have done would have been to bring a sense of humor, to crack certain jokes and say, baby, you know, because who you are married to is different from every other man.
There is an ice that needs to be broken in the home.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, if this is broken, you have a brand new husband that is better than the man you are seeing in the office that is making you laugh all the time.
But for some of us, if you don't want to be happy, you can live with your lack of happiness. I will find my happiness somewhere else. Sometimes you realize that wives are at home on the phone with their siblings, on the phone with their friends, always having great laughter, and you see that the man is alone. As a wife, I may be that kind that, okay, if you don't want joy, that's fine. I want my joy, I'll find my joy. How do I meet my partner halfway and bring my partner out of that shell?
So if we had this conversation when I was single, the views that I hold now may not be the views that I hold then. Because I'm married and I'm building multiple professions, multiple businesses, and I understand a bit of about life, I hold a different opinion. The very first I would say is that we don't even know what a man is going through. We live in a very challenging economy. It's possible that he's even struggling with his salary vis-a-vis his financial responsibilities at home. Probably his parents are also expecting him to send some money. His siblings are expecting him to send some money. He's having some problems at work. Very often when we are going through things, you show a very light-hearted, jovial face to the world. Then when you come to the sanctity of your private chamber, you become yourself. You kowtow to the challenges that you're going through. So we don't even know the challenges that the man is dealing with. I mean, the story, the lady talks about the fact that the man is caring, is a provider, and all of those things. You know, I've read that it's very possible to be very praising of your partner outside, but not even communicate that to the partner inside. Like out there, you're saying I have a good husband. He's a good provider. He's taking care of people. But that's your husband, though.
That's how you think about him or feel about him.
Yes, but do you even tell him, does he feel appreciated? Because all the things that he wants to see in the partner, they are leaves. They are root causes. We have to be friends before we can even laugh.
Yeah.
So if you are not friends and you are the kind of partner who is always nagging, always pointing out mistakes and all of that, it's going to affect how I respond to you. So there are various nuances of the situation. Sometimes, even in adulthood, people are still even dealing with the trauma of childhood. So you see the person as a complete adult. So you may not be understand why you're going on the street, you pass by someone, the person starts insulting you. It's not about you. The person is dealing with something. And the more I grow, the more I see life, the more I meet people, the more I deal with my own challenges, the more I see that life is not very simple. So I can understand why there are these problems in the marriage.
I get it. Now, when I come back, I will take this break. When I return, I'd like us to discuss why we are doing so much. Why are the women intent? They are obsessed with breaking a certain glass ceiling. Why are we trying to achieve so much when in the course of achieving, we are so unhappy and mostly depressed? I'll be right back. Yes, you're welcome back. When I was going, Mama Kathy, I was talking about we doing so much. I have women, quote and unquote, great women on social media. They are supposed to be great women achieving so much. Yet every post of theirs is a lamentation on how early they have to wake up, how long they have to stay in traffic, how they are able to this, how they are able to do that, and they have men by them. You see men talking about they being frustrated, some being moody, like he's saying he's doing so much. Why are we doing so much when the so much is not giving us any happiness?
What a brilliant question. When the so much is not giving us any happiness. Because we have come to a place where we are glossy about what reality actually is for each and every one of us. So at the end of the day, we are trying to impress. Okay, we are trying to look, for want of a better word, perfect. You know? So my advice will be, for a woman, draw a balance. Not just for a woman, for a couple. Let the couple draw a balance. Sit down and speak about what you want to achieve, the legacy you want to achieve, and the modalities you're going to use to getting to that place. So for a woman, you are out there, school runs, house chores, career,
side hustle, church activities.
What are we doing all this for is the question to ask. What are we doing all this for? So as a woman, I have come to realize something that is most important. And I will speak to all the women directly.
Speak to us, ma'am.
The truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, there is a future that you look back either with joy or with regret. So every woman who is running around and doing everything humanly possible and not even creating time for themselves, no self-care, nothing to that effect, you should be able to ask yourself, what will I be remembered for? And how do I make sure I set up a system that allows me to have memories that are sweet in the minds of my children at the end of the day? And even your spouse, because the structure of marriage was instituted by God so that the older years, when we get to our elder years, you have support system. There is nothing as difficult and as frustrating as living a life in your later years alone. So it's not about husband running around helter-skelter to buy everything that everybody else is having, a wife doing this one, the other one. No, I believe that the best way to handle life and create the necessary balance that allows you to live later in life without so much complication with your health is sitting down and drawing a yardstick. What do we want?
So much complication with your health.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes, because I have come to realize that people work so hard to make money. only to use that money to finance their health at the later years. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So it's best that couples sit down and analyze what they want to achieve. Sincerely speaking, I believe most people marry for the wrong reasons. Because he has A, B, C, D doesn't mean I should have. Because he sends his children to international school doesn't mean I should. So the competition is what is making people not even have time for themselves. And so career opportunities that most people embrace, they know that it's not going to all go well because of the ages of their children. They still embrace. Somebody else may be in that job after the children may have grown. You want to compete with a person who has finished raising children. And so you take on a responsibility that will not allow you time to spend with your children.
Oh, preach,
so it's
mama, preach, mama, preach, mama. At a point, we should be able to say, I am not ready for this. Even though it looks like an opportunity, it's the opportunity that will kill you. Yes. Sir, why are you men doing so much? Why can't you say that I called my little brother and I called my big brother and I told them that I'm going through a challenging time at this time, so they should take over from taking care of our parents, and within these 2 years, I will not be able to help. If I'm able to help, I'll come to them. Why can't you tell your nephews and nieces that this time, sister, I'm unable to help? Why are you doing so much?
You are assuming that when the men call their siblings or brothers or sisters to tell them that they will agree and take over. If you are 6 children and you are the one who basically takes care of your mom,
why
and
the
other
one?
Yes.
Everyone should bring their little.
Yes, that is the ideal, but that is not the real. That is the ideal, but that's not the real.
Because you were earning so much, you thought you could take
Sometimes
over.
The person who's even taking care of the parents may not even be the highest earner. It's the most generous.
Yeah.
There are people who have money but do not have it on top of their minds that they have an obligation to their families. So it's the person who has a heart for the parents or for the family who is doing it. And it's not as if you want to be a superhero and carry the whole family on your shoulder, but the others are not doing it. So how will you do? You wish you could get them to help. You have even tried to engage them to assist in taking care of the family, but they aren't doing it. So you have a choice to make as to whether you continue doing it or you leave your mother to starve. So, I mean...
Maybe when you decide to leave, you tell them that, okay, you've been doing this for 10 years. At this point, you don't have the strength for, and you tell your parents, the others will rise to the occasion. Some people, if there is a way out, they will take it.
Yes. Nancy, you see, the difference between real life and academics. And it's like, if this was an academic exercise, we can arrive at what looks like nice answers and then tell scores and say, good answer, 100%.
No, I get
but
you,
life is very, very complicated.
Isn't it?
Like, I mean, when Auntie Kati was, I was thinking about what she's saying. You see, let's not assume that everybody who is out there hustling so much at the expense of health, family, marriage, is looking for excess wealth or money.
Some just
people are hustling.
actualization. Some people just want a certain name.
It's a small group of people.
Oh.
People are hustling. Do you know how much rent costs in Ghana?
Why are you living in a place where you cannot afford?
But then if you go and live somewhere out of town, the hustle and energy and time spent commuting to work is crazy.
All I'm saying is that let us go back to appreciating little things of life. You don't need to work at MTN Ghana, which is one of the finest companies in Accra. You don't need to work at TV3. Yours could be something that you are doing at Kaswa with a group of people in a little studio that will still trend.
It's easy to say what you're saying. In the past 10 years, I've tried to build at least 4 different businesses. I've built a publishing business. I've built a marketing agency I've had to shut down. I've built a training company. I've built a restaurant.
And you've been you've been running all of these.
It's easy for you to say that, oh, he's looking for a lot of money. Do I look like I've made a lot of money? Look at me.
Gentlemen, are we in your account? How can we assume you are not making a lot of money?
I'm just trying to make the point that nobody doesn't want an easy life. I wish that I could even take about 2 years of do nothing and just read and develop myself. Yeah. That is the ideal. The real does not support it.
Oh, the real can. So, if you decide to come down with this.
I mean,
let's not
I'm
move.
talking to one of my colleagues in the office. I mean, he's my employee. And he's talking to me about some stuff that's happening home. And I totally understand him because I honestly know that when the company pays him as a salary, me, myself, the founder of the business, and so me, I wish I could pay him more money. But the revenues of the business does not justify that. Based on the revenues of the business, what he's being paid is what he can really be paid. But based on what I know about the economy, he cannot survive on it. And that's the reality in the majority of homes in Ghana. So only a few people are actually being paid a lot, and they are chasing for extra.
Yes. With the income, I sort of get it. But how about one person that says that they're going to get a master's degree or a double master's degree when she has a little child at home to take care of? She has a husband to feed and also a career. And nobody has given her any timelines. And within this period, she's putting all of these stresses on herself. When we come back from this break, we talk more on Confessions. You are welcome back to Confessions. Mama Kathy is here with us. So is Jeremiah. And we're having a very great conversation on this confession of a woman that has been very happy in the office and depressed at home. And the happiness is almost ruining her marriage. Mommy, some people just don't know how to be warm, how to be sweet, how to be affable. I think eventually I would have to write a book on that one. At my leisure, with no pressure.
Let's write a book.
Yes, at my leisure, with no pressure. If I have to take 5 years to write that book, I will, and eventually publish it. But, I mean, being how to be affable 101. Please give us some tips.
Oh, my God. Am I writing your book for you
Please
already?
I will quote you, my dear. How to be affable to your spouse and, children and family 101. Let's shoot.
You see, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Okay.
If I don't know the purpose for marriage, I will misinterpret everything and run into conclusions where I should actually look for a way to bring about solutions. Being affable is a decision. It's an intentional action.
Oh, yes.
It's something that you sit down and count the cost and know what if you are not, what will this lead to? So it all brings us to a place of knowing that we are not marrying angels. The person you are married to will have a challenge just as you do. Yes. But you must make an intentional decision that you create fun in your home.
In your home.
Because toxicity destroys children.
Yes.
Makes them look for covering somewhere else. At the end of the day, if you consider the consequences of this toxic atmosphere, tense atmosphere, where there is no laughter, where there is no joy, where there is no running around, where there is no friendship. When you think of it at the long run, you'll be able to sit down and realize that it's not worth it.
Yes.
And realizing also that will bring us to a place of knowing that I may have come from a home where there was toxicity, and I don't even know how to play. I don't even know how to laugh. And the conversations we are having here means, oh, if there is so much pressure on the man, he should recoil because he's thinking about A, B, C, D. Whatever you are thinking about cannot be compared with the future you have if you invest in the right things.
Yes.
Okay. So what do? Communication, sitting down. I like starting from telling people to learn the sandwich communication.
Tell us about it.
Sandwich communication says you have a slab of bread, you have another one on top, you have the filling.
Yes.
And it's called 3 P's. Praise, present, praise.
You praise, you present, and you praise again.
Absolutely.
That is how you
because
communicate.
nobody wants to be judged. Nobody wants to be attacked.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be condemned and be criticism always coming to him or
Yes.
her. If you are coming to me, you are always. You make me tune off.
Yes.
But if you come and say, pick just one thing that I do so well, magnify it to the highest level. You prepare the grounds for me to do my presentation of what I don't like.
Yes.
And in that way, you are building friendship, okay? Because without it, you may go through the struggles of life all by yourself. I'm telling you, you're developing sickness.
Yes.
So what do we say? Let's learn the culture of good communication.
In the home.
Let's learn to integrate friendship into marriage, even when it doesn't come naturally. And that means you must know the time to meet your spouse to say, can we talk?
Yes.
And let me use this opportunity to talk to women.
Tell us.
Men dread that word, that sentence. Can we talk? Oh my
They don't
goodness.
want to hear.
Oh my God. It makes most men have high blood pressure. What is he coming with again? He's going to reboot the CPU of the system. Yes. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Women may recall things that makes men pensive. So when we say let us talk, let it be about the problem at hand, not bringing past issues and bringing it to the table, because you make a man completely shut down. Men can't handle that at all. So men want to be celebrated for the little efforts they are making. When you celebrate
Mama
a man,
Kathy, instead of saying that, can we talk, what other expression would make you guys feel better? You are a gentleman sitting in for all the sons of Adam. Yes. How would you rather we said it?
Well, it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing. I think that couples should be intentional about planning to have a conversation without announcing it.
Oh.
Planning to have a conversation, because
it's the announcement that scares you people, eh?
Yes. And then sometimes the announcement can come at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You've just had a difficult confrontation with a client. You are angry. Why if you two say we can't talk? So learning the right time to start a conversation is important.
The studies of non-verbal communication, and 55% of our communication is essential.
I think that we've been taught about intentionality and planning when it comes to education, career, business, but when it comes to interpersonal relationship or marriage, we are not very intentional. We are
just
sporadic.
Going with the flow.
Yes, we are spontaneous.
Yeah.
We don't plan it. I mean, for instance, one of the things that couples can learn to make a marriage better is intentionally learning the interests of the other person.
Yeah.
So my wife is into BBC, CNN, and Al Jazeera. I used to be, but now I don't care anymore. When I turn on TV, I want to entertain myself.
Yeah.
I'm a very intense person. When I come to my television, I don't want to do intensity.
Yeah.
I want to relax. But because of her interest, I've learned to be interested in the things she's interested in. She's always following what's happening in Middle East, what's happening in Somalia, what's happening in Afghanistan. I've also become interested in Afghanistan because that's her interest area.
Yeah.
So we have points of connection. You wife, you don't like football, but your husband supports Real Madrid. You must support Real Madrid. Go and buy Real Madrid jersey. If you were at Chelsea before you came, drop Chelsea and join Real Madrid.
But marriage will be difficult too. I met a gentleman who is only interested in wars in other countries. You are going to spend time with this gentleman. He will put the thing on Al Jazeera and CNN, flipping through how the wars are doing.
Yeah.
How do we even have a conversation?
But that is
this obvious?
But you see, usually we make friends unintentionally. Your friends.
Yes.
You just happen to meet people who have similar interests with you, and you click. But in a marriage, if you realize that there's no friendship, there must be intentionality with developing the friendship.
I agree.
So if we want to be friends, we don't have to be the same. We must have similar interests. So in our diversity and difference, there must be things that bring us together.
Still.
Subjects we share in common. And we must both be trying to learn the other person's language, the other person's hobbies, so that we can have things to do. What do friends do? Friends talk about things. I'm a friend.
They do things together.
Exactly. Friends do things together. So if you don't have shared interests, how do we do things together?
Mr. Clark, was there something you wanted to say? Please pass the microphone to him. I'll pick you and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, Miss Nancy, I agree with Mommy and Daddy. There's one interesting thing that couples should learn. You will be at work driving from work to the house. There's a particular station and a program that you listen to. Your wife also has an interest while she's at home. Either she's listening to a radio program or a television show. Now, which one are you interested in? And which one is she also interested in? Can you have a conversation and say, Ama, me ban me tie ebia me hwe TV3 ewo me kanim because me we internet. Also so uhwe TV3 ana omu yi sa program we dey onu me say hwe na me ba san komoni yedi. Now, if it is radio, whilst you are listening to that radio program, what are the sensitive things that you listen to? When you listen to those things, whilst you are driving home, because it's late, Let her also listen to the same show so that when you get home, you can have a conversation. You ask Daddy about when can we say when can a lady say, I want us to have a talk or a conversation?
Or how do you want us to say it?
You see, when we are having a dinner or Sunday after church when you're having your lunch and stuff, there's a kind of where you will realize that today the euphoria, the surrounding, there's sanity.
The ambience is right.
You understand? So at that point, you start the conversation from where you know his interest is. Along the line, you can chip in. Sometimes you say, "Baby, I make economy so before so and call." Then the lady can say, "It's a meko." Sometimes the lady can tell you, "Me babe can say me a chow. Sa seven no last be na me before so na de me say you gina chibo de. To me boss wa. E ma bunfu." When you say those things to a woman, you see
You
there's
prep
a night
them.
you prep them. So find a way to prep the ladies and the men so that you can enjoy it together.
The wow factor about this confession is actually the fact that it's the humor of the gentleman that has caused this woman who loves her family, even though her husband is not warm nor affable, to slide into an extramarital relationship. Is it true that humor actually does something to a woman and can have that kind of effect on her? Let's speak to the professionals. There are great professionals making so much money in Ghana just by joking, just by making people laugh. They should be able to tell us more on this.
Well, Miss Nancy, I would think that for somebody to say she enjoys the company of a comedian, it's in two phases. The first phase is, yeah, the comedian will make you laugh because he's doing his job, and that's his job. The reality is most of the comedians are not what they do. They are not their jobs. Most of people are actually not their jobs. So you cannot say you love flying and so you fall in love with a pilot. You're not going to live on a plane. You love a lawyer, so you want to fall in love with a lawyer. You will not sleep in a law court. When he comes home, he's a different person. So when a comedian comes home, he's definitely going to be a different person. If you're lucky to have somebody who continually makes you laugh, I mean, that's far from being a comedian. He's a funny person, naturally. But to say that you're falling in love with a comedian just because you think that he will make you laugh for the rest of your life, you might be making a mistake. Yeah, because personally, I have a job, so I do that to make people laugh for money. When I come home, I'm supposed to be serious. You're doing the comedy, taking serious issues and making it light. You're making it non-serious, if I should put it that way. And so if you want me to take you serious in the house, yeah, we're going to have a good life. But if you don't want me to take you serious, that's where I'm going to play around, make funny jokes about everything that you do in the house. And at a point, you may get fed up. So I don't think that it's a good idea to fall in love because of somebody's profession, if you get me that. People do not really understand the two sides of the world. Like, this is the job and this is him. And so you get people trying to get close to you because you're a funny person on stage, you're on camera, but they get to know you more and they get to realize or understand that it's not always about jokes, it's not always about making fun. So I get that a lot, but once you get close to me, I'll let you know the reality of life. If we have to be laughing all the time, we laugh, or some of the time we laugh. But we have to get serious, we get serious, because the world doesn't go in a certain way. You need to face reality of life. You need to take things serious when you have to. You need to think things on the lighter notes when you have to. So I get that a lot though, but I let them know the limits.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, you have been resourceful. Absolutely. But we're wrapping up the show. Is she staying in the marriage, the laughless marriage? Or she should just go on? If laughter is what feeds her soul, she should just move on and stick with this man who is giving her stitches.
Well, she said she didn't want to quit a job. She has to be honest with herself about whether she can stay even in that organization with the man that she was cheating with, and they would discontinue the relationship. I say that before self-discipline, there's self-awareness.
Yeah.
I can be disciplined when I know myself and I know what I can take and what I cannot take. Another woman may be able to discontinue the relationship, keep her marriage, and stay in the company and say, man, this thing that we've been doing, we're not doing it anymore.
Yes.
It's done, and should be done for good.
Yeah.
But another woman may not be able to do it. So she has to be honest with herself about whether she can really stay in the company and discontinue the relationship. But if not, she cannot eat her cake and have it. She has to leave the office.
Yes, Mama Kathy?
What will be her reason for leaving the office? If the job is lucrative and the husband knows that at least that job is secure enough for her, what excuse will she give the husband for wanting to leave the job? We've got to look at that also. And come to a place of letting that woman know that what she also needs is accountability partner. Ability to be accountable to somebody who she can feel vulnerable with. I feel like this with this person, and the person can either give her spiritual, emotional, or psychological support to be able to go through the season until something happens. At the end of the day, I believe that most of the things like the self-awareness that Jeremiah has mentioned, the truth of the matter is that until we close certain doors of how we were brought up and the vulnerabilities that surrounded it, it's not about jumping from this one. She may go to another job and also find a man who is interested in her. How many jobs will she secure until she comes to a place where she values what she has at home and is willing to pay a price to put that home at work, you know, actively available for him to enjoy what she's enjoying outside. So my advice is, woman, heal from the inner child syndrome that is making you vulnerable to any man that is available to speak your language. Number two, get your husband to understand your needs emotionally. Don't press it on him so hardly. Give him room to come to the place where she can give you what you want. Until then, be the one that gives him what you want until she learns how to give you that same thing that you want.
My resource persons today, Mama Kathy and Jeremiah, have been very resourceful. Thank you very much. I will wrap up by giving you a gentle reminder that a flirtation in the office could end up with you actually cheating on your husband or wife. It's usually a hand that is held. It's usually a finger that is tickled. It's usually a shoulder that is squeezed. It's usually a hug and a squeeze along with it. And the next moment after the squeeze, you hear sound. And before you know, you hugged so long and tighter for friends. I am giving you the issues that leads here. So my dear, it's a new year. If you have been on this path, understand where it's taking you to. Today's salvation is come for you. On Confessions, we only seek to impact your lives positively. I am Miss Nancy. Confessions is brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go.